but a nice short thought from Parshas Behar. There's an incredible Rashi that really just teaches us such a simple lesson, something that at times we just have to remind ourselves that the Parsha talks about avodim, slaves, and the Parsha discusses that there are times when unfortunately one might be sold to a non-Jew as a slave. Quite a horrible predicament. And the pasuk ends off at the end of the parsha, Kani Hashem Elokecha. I am Hashem, your God. And Rashi explains that what exactly is the pasuk pointing out at this juncture, I am Hashem, your God. Says Rashi that one would have the thought that you're sold as a slave to a non-Jew. Maybe you're allowed to act as a non-Jew. Says the pasuk, no, I am Hashem, your God. You're not allowed to act as a non-Jew even when being sold to a non-Jew. You're a Yid, you're in a bad situation. But in all situations, we have to follow the rules. And when we think about this Rashi, it probably should strike us as a bit odd. What was the thought process? You're a Jew. You're in a bad situation. You're sold as a slave to a non-Jew. Why does Rashi have to go out of its way to point out? No, you still have to follow the rules. So the famed Mashgiach Rav Nosson Vogel comes along and he says to each and every one of us, the Torah is teaching us what does it mean to be an Eved, a slave. Why is that relevant? Because we're all slaves to Hashem. In a few short weeks, we're going to accept the Torah anew on Shavuos by Maimed Har Sinai, which, when we said the famed words of Nasa v'Nishma, we became servants forever to God. So what does that mean? Explains Rav Nosson Vogel. A slave follows its master completely, without any thoughts. So much so, one would think if one is sold to a non-Jew, he can even act like a non-Jew. Because when you're a slave to someone, you're completely engrossed, identified, intrinsically bond to that person. And therefore says the Torah, no, be careful, you're a slave, but you can't act like a non-Jew. And of course, the lesson to all of us is so simple, so obvious, that irregardless of life's challenges and life's difficulties and life's busyness, regardless of everything, we just always have to remember we have one person, one entity that we're bound to. That we're, of course, we're Yidden, we're Jews, we're part of Hashem's army, and that transcends all. It doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make the challenges less challenging. It doesn't make the difficulties not hard, but it's just a reminder. The Torah just comes to remind us that in all situations, but in truth, and what this will conclude, it is a little bit of a chizuk and encouragement. Because let's realize that we live in a world of so many temptations and so many lures and so many challenges and so many difficulties. And we might wonder and sometimes feel like we're being pulled so difficult, so much, that we almost feel like, I cannot. How can I not go to this place where people are going? How can I not do this that people are doing? How can I not do that? How could I still stay to the morals that I have? How do I still realize that's natural? Because that's the way that it goes, that when we have pulls, when we're a quote unquote slave to the world and the world around us pulls us so strongly, it's like that Jew being sold to the non-Jew, that the Torah comes to remind us that yes, it's difficult and yes, it's challenging. But remember, take chizuk, that it's normal. Yes, we all have that pull, we all have that lure, and then utilize it to say, okay, I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to try to put my best foot forwards. I'm going to try to continue making the right decisions even when we can't see the favorable outcome. Even when we can't notice the silver lining, will try to always and continuously do the right thing.